Today we're going to look at this assembly. In this tutorial we will see how to make those components in the assembly level instead of create each of these components individually and then form an assembly. Let's look at this drawing first. Here's all the components. Part 1, post. Part 2, bracket. Part 3, the shaft. Part 4, wheel. Part 5, bushing. And part 6, here's the nuts. This is the standard parts, so we can download from this supplier, or we can insert the nuts from the library if it's available. Now let's get started. From make this simplest part, wheel first. We're going to put our windows side by side so we can have it more easily. Okay. Let's make a new part. Hit OK. First, determine your unit. We see here it is millimeter, so the matrix. We start with sketch. I'm going to make this section and revolve it. So, and I'm going to make this front plane as my sketch plane. Sketch. As usual, I'm going to create my reference line. Vertical. Horizontal reference line. Okay. Now I'm going to create the profile. I'm going to create just a quarter and then mirror it. So it will be something like this. Okay, and then we have a slot here. Make another one. Make slot. Uh-oh. I don't want to make this one to be the center, right? Okay. Okay. So you can see we have a slot here, we have a slot here. I'm going to trim it. Alright, now give it dimension. From here to here is the hole size, which is 14. So 14 divided by 2. Oops. 14 divided by 2 divided by 2, and then the overall diameter 100, then divide by 2. Oh, that's too bad, so I'm going to move this down. Okay, and then we know this rim is 70 from here to here. 70 divided by 2, and this is 30. So from here to here 30 divided by 2. Okay, and then from here to here, 28. From here to the center. Cancel. From here to here is 28 divided by 2. Okay, this one. Three millimeter from here to here is 3 millimeter. Now you can see all the lines, all the curves are black, so I get a fully constrained. So then I'm going to mirror this to get a full profile. Mirror. Okay. Done. Here's my profile. I can revolve it now. Like sketch. I forgot this line, so let me edit the sketch and mirror again. Mirror this one above the center line. Hit OK. Now I should get that's right. So once it becomes once my profile becomes closed area, right, enclosed area, then the sketch becomes dark, indicating it is a closed loop. Now I can get my wheels. Use revolve. Here's my plane. Okay. Hit OK. There are lots of details here. I'm going to leave this detail for now, and I want you to do this by yourself. I'm not going to demonstrate this in here, so I'm going to save this part as part 2, part 4, wheel, and give my initial. I always put my initial at the end of my file, so I know it is created by myself. Okay, whenever you get your part done and you're satisfied with the modification, save your file. Now we get the first component being created. Instead of create the other components, we are going to use a different approach. This time we're going to make assembly first. So we're going to create a new, this time the assembly, hit OK. You can see, and we put this one into our assembly. Okay, now you can see the assembly and the first components. Let's save this file first. So it will be assembly caster with my initial. Save it. Also, make sure it is in millimeter. Okay. Now you can see, if we look at the front plane, whether they are aligned or not. They are not, right? So that means they are not in a position as I expected. So I'm going to modify this. Okay. First, I want to make my part flow. The first component being put in the assembly, usually by default it is fixed. So I want to make it flow. Once I make it flow, I can move it to desired location. So I'm going to make the front view, front plane, aligned with my front plane. Coincident, accept this, and then top plane with top plane. Okay, coincident, right plane with the right plane, coincident. So the coordinate system of my assembly and the wheel will be coincident to each other. Okay, so you can see origin and origin are the same, right? They coincident. All right, let's save this for now because I already have my mates, right? So it's similar to what we have fixed. Okay, we will not be able to move this part without disable our mates. Now, if we look at those mates, so those mates allow me to fix my components in the assembly. So I'm going to put this one. Fix this wheel. Okay, save my file. If I would like to suppress this one, then I will be able to move it around. So if I unsuppress it, then it goes to my original desired position. Okay, save my file. Now, because we already have this here, then we can use this reference to create other components, right? So it will be more convenient for us. Now, let's create this bushing. So we're going to insert a new component, a new part. The part 2 being created and asking me to put in the assembly. I just put it here, click it, it will be put in the assembly. So I'm going to check, right? So you can see all this plan in my new part is automatically aligned with the assembly front plane and the right plane and top planes. So that's fine. So we're going to save my file. Okay, save this part in external, right? External file. So it will be on my disk. So I give the name. The folder is the same as my assembly folder, and I give the name. It will be part 5 bushing with my initial. Hit OK. Save my file. Okay. Now you can see. What can we use? We can use our sketch here. Make it visible. Okay. And then we're not going to modify this one. Instead, we want to exit this edit components. Actually, we would like to edit this components part 5 bushing. So select this part 5 bushing and hit edit components. Make sure it is in assembly, right? So now we can work on this, and we use front view to do this. We're going to create, let's hide the solid first, so it will allow us get a more clean view, right? You can see part 5 bushing is in blue, so it becomes available for us to make some sketches, make features, do anything, and modify this part. Okay, in the title block, you can see part 5 bushing in this assembly is what we're looking for, what we are working on. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to create this bushing. This bushing is 28 millimeter, and it's also 28 millimeter, and this is 514, so this is also 514, right? So we can use this point as our reference to create our bushing. Okay, let's get started. I also want to use this front plane to create my sketch. Just okay, make sure you're creating your sketch in this part 5, not in assembly, not in part 4. Okay, so this is very important. As usual, I'm going to make assembly reference line here. Okay, here's the horizontal reference line, and then vertical horizontal line, vertical reference line. Then I'm going to make a rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to use 3 point. Okay, 3 point, one corner, another corner. Right. So I know this corner will be here, and this corner will be here. Then here. It's easy, right? So this length is being automatically matched with the wheel. Okay, so then we just need to dimension the hole. What is the hole size? The hole size, oh, I forgot to change the unit, right? So, but it's okay. We can 8 divided by 2 millimeter. We can give the unit directly in the sketch. Once we've done this, let's change this to millimeter. Double check. It is 4 millimeter, which is good. Then we can create our bushing. Simply revolve it. We're going to use the sketch here, and this sketch profile is being automatically selected. If you have other complicated geometry want to create, then you need to select different curve to as your profile. Okay. Now we have the bushing. Right. So let's save this file, and then click Edit Component to return to the assembly. Okay. So let's hide the sketch and show the body of the wheel. Then we have 2 components now. Save everything. Let's Control 7 to bring to isometric view to see our assembly. So this is the second part being created. All right. Now we have 2 components. We can start to create other parts. This time I'm going to create this bracket first. So it's going to be 1 millimeter in thickness. So I'm going to create the profile first, okay, and then use extrude to create those profile. let's get started. Again, we're going to insert a new part in the assembly level, part 3. Let's save this one. Okay, double check whether my datum plane aligned with whether my datum planes aligned with my datum plane in assembly, which is correct. So I'm going to start in the right view. I'm going to create this profile. So right plane, make sure you choose this part 3, okay, and let's save this first. Part 3, rename it to part 2 bracket, and also give my initial. Save it. Good. Then I'm going to edit the components. Alright, edit the components, and then we're going to use the right plane to start the sketch. So let's look at it. Bring it to the right view. Okay, good. What we can do is, as usual, we're going to create some reference line. Okay, so first I'm going to create the center hole. This hole is 8 millimeter. So it's going to be in the center. I just give it dimension. Oh, 8 millimeter. Okay, you can see this hole is the same size as the bushing hole, right? Which is exactly the same dimension as we expected. Let me change this one to millimeter so I can make it, when I create my sketch, it will be easier. Okay, 8 millimeter. Then here's the radius R10. I'm going to create this one. Give dimension. It's going to be 20. Alright. Then this line is vertical. So we're going to get a vertical line starting from this circle, right? Starting from this circle. So it's going to be on here. And it's going to be make it vertical, right? So, and also it's going to be higher. The profile will be from here to here. We're going to have a tangent line here, right? So from here, and then draw a line like this, and I'm going to add, we're going to add a relation. So this line and the circle is going to be tangent. Hit OK. Alright, so we can also see the the dimension is 60, right? 60. This 60 is from the inner side to the hole center. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give dimension, include the thickness here, which is 1 millimeter. So from top to the center will be 61 millimeter. Okay, 61 millimeter. Okay, now I can trim my curve. Trim my curve. I get a profile. All right. Okay, and then you can see the width is 44 millimeter. So I'm going to give dimension. This is 44. Okay, fully constrained sketch here, and I would like to add one more here, represent the inner side, right? So it's going to be 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter material thickness. Let me trim this, and then trim this. Okay, we also recognize on this side we have a slot here, so this rib can extend here, so to prevent this shaft to turn with a wheel, right? So I'm going to put it here. Okay, I'm going to put it here. It's going to be from here to here to here. Okay, then give dimension. The dimension from here to the center will be 6 millimeter, and from here to the center it's going to be 2.5 divided by 2. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to trim it. Then mirror it. Mirror this two here, and use the center line as my mirror plane reference. Now we get the slot, right? We are going to create this bracket. Done. How we can create this bracket? So we are going to extrude it. Okay, extrude. So we're going to extrude. We also include this hole. We would like to include this hole. So we also include this hole to extrude, right? So then we would like to offset. We know it's 30, right? The width is 30. Inner space is 30. So we are going to offset from here to 15. Offset 15. And then the thickness will be 1 millimeter. Represent the thickness of the material. We get this. Right, let's look at here. Okay, outside profile, which is correct. Okay, on the other side, not only with this one, but also with that slot, right? So make this visible, and I'm going to extrude again. But in this time, it's going to be in other direction, and offset 15, and thickness 1 millimeter, offset. Okay. But this time we also include this one and this one, so we have a slot. Hit OK. We have two sides. Then we need the top. This time extrude. We delete and only extrude this one. So this time it's going to be, we're going to start from the sketch plane, right? So it's going to be middle plane and it's going to be 15 on each side. Okay, it's going to be 30 right together. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's correct. That's correct. And merge the results, so it becomes a whole. Let's hit OK. Now we have the bracket. However, we have the corner being rounded, right? Rounded corner here. Okay, so we're going to make a fillet. Let's make the inside fillet, which is here's R4, right? R4. R4. Okay, and also here. Right? Good. Then outside do the same, but this time we have radius which is 5 because the thickness of the material is 1 millimeter. Okay. Okay. Here's my bracket. Once I'm done, I can save my file. I'm satisfied with this for now. One more thing here is this hole, right? You can either draw a circle on this plane, or you can use a hole with that. Let's use this hole with that. We can see we're going to use this hole, and we're going to say it's going to be matrix, and drill size it's going to be 14.5 millimeter. I already selected last time, so it's by default it doing this. Okay, right, and it's going to be a through or hole, and okay, which is good. Oh, the surface to locate the hole. All right, I would like to select the center point. Let me see if I can make, yeah, it is available. Oh, this is the only point I can choose. The center point of this. Okay, I'm going to use here. It's going to be the center. 22, right? So it's going to be the center. Create. Hit OK. Now you can see. Good. You can see here, this hole contains two sketch. One is is for the center, the other is for the profile. Okay, so this is the end of the bracket. Now I can save my file and then stop editing my components and save all the assembly. Bring it to my isometric view. Okay. Now I'm going to create another part, which is the shaft. Okay, so this time I'm going to extend this a little bit. I'm going to rebuild this one first. So, and then save it. And shrink. What I can do here, we're going to create the shaft and put it here, right? So let's hide everything else first. So hide this one, hide my wheel. I can leave my bushing here, right? But even for the bushing, I would like to hide the solid and only show the sketch. Alright, so once I have this, then you can see I can use this reference to create my my shaft. Okay. If necessary, I can use this. I can use a bracket as a reference later. Let's save it. Save all. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a new component, which is the part. Put it here. As we know, it's always been aligned, right? So we don't need to worry about its orientation. So let's save this file first. Give the name PT3 shaft. Give my initial. Hit OK. And then you can see I'm going to this front view, right? Here's my front view. I'm going to use front view to create my sketch, and then I'm going to use a sketch to create my solid. First, as usual, I'm going to create my center line. Now here's my center line, and then vertical center line, vertical center line. Okay, now I'm going to create here the half profile. It's going to be a step, the cap, and then a step, and then one more step for the thread, and then here to here. Okay. Alright. So the diameter is let's start from small one. The M6, right? M6. So dimension from here to here, it's going to be 3 millimeter. From here to here, it's going to be 7.5 divided by 2. And here it's going to be 16 divided by 2. Okay, that's the radius. And then from here to here, the total length is going to be 40. Going to be 40. From here to here, it's going to be 2 millimeter. And from here, it's going to be 3 millimeter. Okay, so I'm going to use this for now. Okay, how about from here to here? Its location. It's not been located yet. What we can do here, we can put this in center. Put this in center. So you can see here, this is 28, and this is 40 in total. So the from here to here, it's going to be 35. 35 minus 28, right? Then I can give from here to here, it's going to be 35 minus, it's going to be 7 divided by 2. Okay, so from here to here equal from here to here. I put this here so far. Let me see the bracket, right? So if we look at the bracket, we still have some room here. Should be alright. Let me hide my bracket for now. We still have a rib here. I'm going to create my rib, right? So this rib is going to be extruded, right? So later on, and to be safe, I'm going to make from here to here, all right? So from here to here anywhere, and I'm going to say it's going to be here to here. All right, so this is my rib, and I'm going to give it dimension from here to here. It's going to be 2 millimeter. Okay, and the angle from here to here is going to be 45 degree, and I would like to give a dimension from here to here. It's going to be, say, 1 millimeter to be safe. Hit OK. Then I can have this rib being extruded and united with. If I just put it here, it's going to tangent here, and it's going to be line contact with my between the rib and the shaft, right? So between the rib and the cylinder. So you will get trouble. So here's my profile. Let me start to work on it. I think I made a mistake, which that's the problem, right? You can see I use assembly. This sketch is an assembly. It's not in the shaft. So what I need to do, I have to make this one to be my working part, and then I can use this. I can use a sketch, or I can delete the sketch. Let me delete the sketch. This is not a correct way to do it. So remember, if you don't make this one as your working part, or make the edit components first, whatever you do, it's going to be in the wrong file. Okay, so remember this mistake I made. It's a good example. It's a bad example, but it's also a good example, right? So front plane sketch. This time we're going to make it more quickly. So center line here, here, and then I'm going to create my part. Oops. make this one horizontal, then here, here, okay, and then also from here to here to here to here. Okay, now give the dimension. So here to here to be 14 millimeter. Millimeter. Here to here 2 millimeter. Here to here 40 degree, 45 degree. Here to here 1 millimeter. And from here to here 3.5 millimeter, and from here to here it's 8 millimeter, and here to here 6 millimeter. 3 millimeter, sorry. From here to here, from here to here, it's going to be 7.5 divided by 2. 3.5 millimeter. Okay, done. Rebuild everything. Now we can hide this one for now, and then revolve it. Revolve. It's going to be this one and this one. Okay, you see, that's my shaft, and then I'm going to create a rib. So it's going to be okay, meter plane and 1 millimeter. So it's going to be 2 millimeter rib. Here 2.5 millimeter, right? So here's my shaft. Control 7, and then hide my sketch. Here's my shaft. If we look at all the components, unhide everything, you can see. Not bad. Control 7. And then edit, save my file. Okay, now let's create part 1 post. Again, we're going to insert a new part, and then okay, and then save it externally. Say, give the name pt1 underscore post and my initial. Okay, save the file. Okay, now we're going to hide everything else except the bracket. We can use our bracket as a reference for now. Okay, then make sure edit the components so this becomes blue. And I'm going to use the front plane to create my sketch. bring it to front view. Okay, start with my center line to create the reference first. Okay, now the shaft is going to be this post is going to be put here, right? So we're going to so it's going to be something like this. Okay, and then it's going to be say 43 millimeter, and it's going to be 14 in diameter, so it's going to be 7 millimeters. Control Z. It's going to be 7 millimeter. Okay, and I'm going to and change this one to millimeter. Okay, then add a sketch again. Now we're going to have a groove here, right? So then we're going to add a step here. And add a groove here. Okay, so the diameter will be 8 millimeter, 18 millimeter. So radius is 9 millimeter. From here to here, it's going to be 7.5 divided by 2. Okay, and then this is 4 millimeter from the top, and it's going to be 9 millimeter in length. 9 millimeter in length. Oh, sorry. This is 9 millimeter. This is 9 millimeter. This is 4 millimeter. And then this one to be 3 millimeter. And also, this is supposed to be horizontal. And also you can see this one is can we move this up and down? No, because this is a constraint here, right? So okay, we are good. Now I'm going to trim it. To trim this one, this one. And trim this one, trim this one first, and then okay, let me hide this one for now. Okay, and then try to trim this. Okay, all right, everything's fine. Okay, sketch, and then I'm going to revolve it. Okay. And we also have some chamfer and those details here. I'm going to leave it for now for yourself. So you're going to make it by yourself, and let me see all this assembly. Here we are. Okay. Now it's not being put correctly here, right? So what we can do, so this is being fixed, right? So make it float, and then use mate, and say this cylinder, choose this inner surface, make it concentric. Alright, here's my assembly. There are some details need to be modified, for example the chamfers and so on. So then we can do this later. To make my assembly more clean, I'm going to hide the sketches. Sketchy, hide it, and then you can see. We also have some mates being put here. You can see. Use this method. Create 3D model in assembly level can help us to use a reference from other parts to find the relationship between them. Okay, so this is the end of this example. For now, you're going to make those chamfers, those radius, and so on by yourself to complete all the 3D models for each of the components and then assemble.